Keller Townsend with a forward research report. The United States Geological Survey with a huge announcement. The United States Geological Survey announces the largest continuous oil assessment in Texas and New Mexico. Based on Bradford, Donald Keller Townsend, and Forward Research computations, it is approximately 10 years worth of crude oil and natural gas usage for the United States and its territories. This was released back November 28th, 2018. Estimates include 43.3 billion barrels of oil, 281 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, and 20 billion barrels of natural gas liquids in Texas and New Mexico's Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation. You can see the map here. It overlaps northern Texas, a good chunk of northern Texas, and a large chunk of New Mexico, Eddy County, Cumberland County, Loving, Reeves, Ward, Lee, or Leah. I'm not sure how they pronounce it in New Mexico. This is gigantic. I don't want to say huge because, our president uses that word all the time. Base map from the U.S. Department of Interior National Park Service in 30-mile scale with kilometers. Here's a smaller map where my cursor is going around, showing you where it is, the Permian Basin. I will put a link directly to this in the remarks section. You may have to scroll down a little bit to see it. It says explanation. Third Bone Springs continuous oil, which is in aqua blue. Second Bone Spring continuous oil AU in aqua blue. First Bone Spring continuous oil outlined. I may be a little colorblind getting old. It still looks like aqua blue to me. In Sunset Orange, Lower Avalon Shale Continuous Oil AU. In a darker Auburn Brown, Upper Avalon Shale Continuous Oil. And in black, Permian Basin Province Boundary. So go up there again, and you can see that, and you can see it over here. Assessment units for the Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation of the Delaware Basin. Public domain. So that means I'm allowed to put this out there. Washington. Today, the U.S. Department of Interior announced the Wolfcamp Shale and overlying Bone Spring Formation in the Delaware Basin portion of Texas and New Mexico's Permian Basin province contain an estimated mean, that means average, of 46,300 million barrels of oil, 281 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, and 20 billion barrels of natural gas liquids, according to an assessment by the United States Geological Survey. This estimate is for continuous, unconventional oil and consists of undiscovered, technically recoverable resources. Christmas came a few weeks early this year, or Hanukkah, said U.S. Secretary of Interior Ryan Zinke. In German, you always pronounce every letter. American strength flows from American energy, as it turns out. We have a lot of American energy. Before this assessment came down, I was bullish on oil and gas production in the United States. Now, I know for a fact that the American energy dominance is within our grasp as a nation, end quote. Quote, in the 1980s, during my time in the petroleum industry, the Permian and similar mature basins were not considered viable for producing large new recoverable resources. Today, thanks to advances in technology, the Permian Basin continues to impress in terms of resource potential. The results of this most recent assessment and that of Wolfcamp Formation in the Midland Basin in 2016 are our largest continuous oil and gas assessments ever released, said Dr. Jim O'Reilly, United States Geological Survey Director. Knowing where these resources are located and how much exists is crucial to ensuring both our energy independence and energy dominance. Here's a map of New Mexico and Texas showing where they surveyed. Assessment units of the Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation in the Delaware Basin. Although the United States Geological Survey has previously assessed conventional oil and gas resources in the Permian Basin province, this is the first assessment of continuous resources in the Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation in the Delaware Basin portion of the Permian. Oil and gas companies are currently producing oil here using both traditional vertical well technology and horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing. The Wolfcamp Shale in the Midland Basin portion of the Permian Basin province was assessed separately in 2016. And at the first, it was the largest assessment of continuous oil conducted by the United States Geological Survey. The Delaware Basin assessment of the Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation is more than 2 times larger than that of the Midland Basin. The Permian Basin province includes a series of basins and other geologic formations in West Texas and southern New Mexico. It is one of the most productive areas for oil and gas in the entire United States. The results we've released today demonstrate the impact that improved technologies such as hydraulic fracturing and directional drilling have had on increasing the estimates of undiscovered, technically recoverable, continuous, parentheses, i.e., unconventional, close parenthesis, resources, said Walter Guidros, Program Director of the United States Geological Survey Energy Resources Program. Here's another map that shows the longitude and latitude. It goes through the 32nd latitude here, down to all the way past the 31st latitude. So that's a lot of area. Base map from the United States Department of Interior National Park Service. Assessment units for the Wolfcamp Shale and Bone Spring Formation of the Delaware Basin public domain. Undiscovered resources are the most that are estimated to exist based on geologic knowledge and already established production, while technically recoverable resources are those that can be produced using currently available technology and industry practices. Whether or not it is profitable to produce these resources has not been evaluated. I'll read that again. Whether or not it is profitable to produce these resources has not been evaluated. The United States Geological Survey is the only provider of publicly available estimates of undiscovered, technically recoverable oil and gas resources on shore lands and offshore state waters. The United States Geological Survey, Delaware Basin Wolfcamp Shale, and Bone Spring Formation Assessment was undertaken as part of a nationwide project assessing domestic petroleum basins using standardized methodology and protocols. The new assessment of the Delaware Basin Wolfcamp Shale may be found online To find out more about the United States Geological Survey energy assessments and other energy research, please visit the United States Geological Survey Energy Resources Program website. Sign up for our newsletter and follow us on Twitter. They have a very well-running quality website here. I think I already gave you the takeaway, which is this would be 10 years worth of energy. It is still a non-renewable resources that will be depleted, but millions of people need to start growing their own growing food and farming, and we're rapidly destroying our farmland with petrochemical agriculture. There's also the issue of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, O3, carbon dioxide, aluminum or aluminum, lead, and other additives. You can purchase additives at your typical local, I won't use any names, auto repair shops, which are unregulated and could have aluminum, which causes Alzheimer's, and lead, which causes retardation and severe neurological damage, just to name a couple. And ozone, O3, destroys your lungs, and carbon monoxide is also not good. So most vehicles or chainsaws and other internal combustion engines, it's a mixed blessing here in that more use of petroleum, if this is in fact true. Now, the government can create non-debt currency. The Treasury can, or the military can just issue money without borrowing or anything. The government has that capability and can grant. There was a large, gigantic grant called BUILD. That is an acronym. I don't know what it stands for, to develop this infrastructure. So with the gigantic BUILD grant and the government's ability to create digital fiat currency, which has no intrinsic value, they can just create money and give it to these corporations if it's in the national interest to produce this, even if it's unprofitable from a monetary, accounting, fiscal, bookkeeping standpoint. Shalom, peace, strength, courage, and honor. Over and out. This has been a Forward Research Report. Farewell and goodbye. Leve wohl und auf Wiedersehen. Adieu et au revoir.